The sinister allure of the Pacific Northwest's most haunted highways. The Pacific Northwest, with its mist-shrouded forests, jagged mountain ranges, and winding coastal roads, has long been a region steeped in mystery. Beneath its breathtaking landscapes lies a darker side, a realm where the supernatural intertwines with the mundane, and the open road becomes a conduit for the unknown. In this episode of our haunted storytelling series, we delve deeper into the eerie tales that haunt the highways of Oregon, Washington, and beyond. From phantom hitchhikers to spectral vehicles, these roads are not merely pathways connecting towns but corridors through which the past refuses to fade. The highways of the Pacific Northwest have earned their haunted reputation through centuries of human history. Tales of tragedy, loss, and unexplained phenomena that linger like the ever-present fog rolling off the Pacific Ocean. These stretches of asphalt and gravel bear witness to stories that defy logic. Travelers who vanish without a trace, ghostly figures appearing in rearview mirrors, and chilling encounters with entities that seem to exist outside the bounds of time. Whether you're a local commuter or a curious wanderer, these roads hold an undeniable allure, an invitation to explore the thin veil between the living and the dead. In Episode 1, we introduced some of the most infamous haunted highways in the region, setting the stage for the spine-chilling narratives that define them. Now, in Episode 2, we venture further into the shadows, uncovering even more harrowing accounts from those brave, or foolhardy, enough to traverse these spectral byways. Each highway carries its own unique legend, born from real-life events and whispered folklore passed down through generations. These stories are not mere campfire tales. They are deeply rooted in documented reports, first-hand accounts, and the enduring legacy of those who dared to drive these haunted roads. As we journey together through this second installment, prepare to confront the inexplicable. You'll hear about drivers who narrowly escaped encounters with malevolent spirits, families plagued by recurring nightmares after passing through cursed intersections, and lone travelers who swore they saw headlights behind them only to find no car in sight. These highways are more than just routes on a map. They are living, breathing entities that seem to breathe fear into the hearts of those who dare to cross them. So buckle up, dear reader, as we embark on a chilling ride through the Pacific Northwest's most haunted highways. Keep your eyes on the road, but don't forget to glance over your shoulder. After all, you never know what might be riding shotgun. Highway 20, the ghosts of the North Cascades stretching across the rugged expanse of northern Washington. Highway 20 cuts through the heart of the North Cascades, offering breathtaking views of snow-capped peaks, dense forests, and pristine alpine lakes. Known as the North Cascades Highway, it is celebrated for its scenic beauty and outdoor adventures. Yet beneath its picturesque surface lies a darker history, one marked by disappearances, accidents, and whispers of the supernatural. For decades, travelers have reported strange occurrences along this remote stretch of road, earning it a reputation as one of the Pacific Northwest's most haunted highways. One of the most chilling legends tied to Highway 20 involves the Lady in White, a spectral figure said to wander the roadside near Rainy Pass. According to local lore, she was a young woman traveling home late at night when her car skidded off the icy road during a winter storm. Her body was never found, and since then, drivers have claimed to see her standing beside the highway, her translucent form illuminated by headlights. She appears distraught, waving frantically as if pleading for help, only to vanish when approached. Many motorists report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness upon encountering her, as though her despair lingers in the air like frost. Another haunting tale centers around the area near Diablo Lake, where several unexplained disappearances have occurred over the years. In the early 1980s, a family of 4 vanished without a trace while driving along this desolate section of Highway 20. Their abandoned vehicle was discovered weeks later, parked neatly on the shoulder with no signs of struggle or foul play. Inside, investigators found personal belongings intact, including wallets, keys, and even a half-eaten sandwich. The case remains unsolved, but locals believe the family fell victim to something far more sinister than human error. Some claim the lake itself is cursed, its deep waters hiding secrets best left undisturbed. Fishermen and hikers in the vicinity often report hearing faint cries echoing across the water, particularly on foggy nights when visibility drops to near zero. Perhaps the most unsettling phenomenon associated with Highway 20 is the recurring appearance of phantom vehicles. Dozens of drivers have recounted seeing headlights in their rearview mirrors, only to discover no car behind them when they pull over to investigate. Others describe being tailgated by shadowy trucks or sedans that seem to materialize out of nowhere, matching their speed regardless of how fast they drive. One particularly disturbing account comes from a truck driver who swears he was pursued by a black sedan for miles before it suddenly disappeared into thin air. He claims the experience left him so shaken that he refused to take another job in the area. Adding to the highway's eerie reputation are reports of electronic malfunctions and mechanical failures experienced by drivers passing through certain stretches. Radios tune themselves to static-filled stations, GPS devices lose signal, and engines stall inexplicably. Some attribute these incidents to the region's high concentration of quartz deposits, which are believed to interfere with electromagnetic fields. However, others suspect something more otherworldly at play, a force determined to keep intruders away from places better left forgotten. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Highway 20 continues to attract adventurers eager to test their courage against the unknown. During the summer months, tourists flock to the North Cascades National Park, drawn by promises of hiking trails, wildlife sightings, and panoramic vistas. Yet as the sun sets and darkness envelopes the landscape, the highway transforms into a different kind of destination, one where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and the ghosts of those who came before refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. For those brave enough to travel this haunted route, the promise of encountering the supernatural offers both terror and fascination. Whether you're drawn by curiosity, skepticism, or a desire to connect with the mysteries of the past, Highway 20 delivers an unforgettable experience. But beware, once you enter its shadowy embrace, there's no guarantee you'll leave unchanged, or at all. U.S. Route 101, shadows along the coast hugging the rugged coastline of the Pacific Northwest. U.S. Route 101 is a highway unlike any other. Stretching from Olympia, Washington, to Crescent City, California, this iconic roadway weaves through lush rainforests, dramatic cliffs, and quaint seaside towns, offering travelers unparalleled access to the region's natural splendor. Yet, for all its beauty, U.S. Route 101 harbors a dark secret, one whispered among locals and etched into the memories of those who've dared to drive its length after sunset. This is a road where the ocean's roar drowns out the hum of tires, where ancient trees cast impenetrable shadows, and where the ghosts of the past linger, waiting to reveal themselves to the unwary. One of the most notorious sections of U.S. Route 101 lies near Nikini Mountain in Oregon, a place steeped in Native American legend and maritime tragedy. According to tribal lore, the mountain is cursed, its slopes concealing a treasure buried centuries ago by Spanish explorers fleeing hostile forces. While many have sought the fabled riches, none have returned to tell the tale. Travelers passing through this area often report strange sensations, a sudden drop in temperature, the feeling of being watched, or the unmistakable sound of footsteps crunching gravel despite no one being nearby. Some claim to see shadowy figures darting between the trees, their forms dissolving into mist as headlights illuminate the forest edge. Further south, near Ecola State Park, the highway takes on an even more ominous tone. Here, the tragic story of the Pioneer, a shipwreck that claimed dozens of lives in the late 1800s, casts a long shadow over the surrounding waters. On foggy nights, drivers swear they can hear the faint cries of drowning sailors carried inland by the wind. Others describe seeing ghostly apparitions walking along the shoreline, their silhouettes illuminated briefly by moonlight before vanishing into the surf. One particularly chilling account comes from a couple who pulled over to admire the view only to spot a man in tattered sailor's garb standing motionless atop a rocky outcrop. When they called out to him, he turned slowly, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to pierce straight through them, and then stepped backward into the void. U.S. Route 101 is also infamous for its phantom hitchhikers, spectral figures said to appear unexpectedly along isolated stretches of the road. Near Tillamook, Oregon, countless drivers have reported picking up a disheveled woman claiming to be stranded after a car accident. She sits silently in the passenger seat, her face obscured by a hood, until the vehicle approaches a specific intersection, where she abruptly disappears without explanation. Similar stories abound throughout Washington state, where hitchhikers dressed in outdated clothing vanish moments after thanking their rescuers. Investigators attempting to track down these individuals inevitably hit dead ends, leading many to believe they are not of this world. Adding to the highway's haunted mystique are the tales of cursed landmarks and abandoned sites scattered along its path. The Heseda Head Lighthouse, perched precariously on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, is rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a former keeper's wife. Visitors frequently report hearing disembodied voices and seeing lights flickering in empty rooms, while staff members describe tools moving on their own and doors slamming shut without cause. Nearby, the decaying ruins of the Wolf Creek Inn serve as another hotspot for paranormal activity. Once a bustling stopover for stagecoaches, the inn now stands as a crumbling relic of the past, its halls said to echo with the laughter and sobs of long-dead patrons. Modern technology has done little to dispel the highway's supernatural reputation. Dashcam footage captured by drivers traversing U.S. Route 101 reveals inexplicable anomalies. Orbs of light hovering above the treetops, translucent shapes drifting across the road, and vehicles appearing briefly in rearview mirrors before disappearing altogether. Cell phone signals falter unpredictably, leaving travelers cut off from the outside world at critical moments. Even seasoned truckers admit to feeling uneasy when navigating certain stretches of the highway, citing an oppressive weight in the air that defies rational explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunting allure, U.S. Route 101 remains a magnet for thrill-seekers and history buffs alike. Its blend of natural beauty and eerie folklore makes it a must-visit destination for those willing to confront the unknown. For every traveler who drives its winding curves under starlit skies, there exists the tantalizing possibility of encountering something beyond comprehension. Whether you're drawn by the promise of adventure or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic past, U.S. Route 101 offers an experience unlike any other, a journey where the boundaries between life and death blur, and the spirits of those who came before refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. Interstate 5, the primary north-south artery of the Pacific Northwest, slices through the heart of Washington and Oregon, connecting bustling cities like Seattle and Portland with smaller towns and rural expanses. While it serves as a vital lifeline for commerce and travel, I-5 harbors a sinister side, a hidden world of spectral encounters, inexplicable phenomena, and lingering tragedies that have earned it a reputation as one of the region's most haunted highways. Beneath the hum of traffic and the glow of streetlights lies a shadowy realm where the past refuses to stay buried, and the echoes of untimely deaths reverberate through the ages. One of the most chilling legends tied to I-5 revolves around the stretch near Ridgefield, Washington, where a series of fatal accidents in the 1970s gave rise to rumors of a curse. Locals speak in hushed tones about Black Sunday, a day in 1974 when 3 separate crashes occurred within hours of each other, claiming the lives of 7 people. Emergency responders arriving at the scene described an eerie stillness, as though time itself had paused amidst the chaos. Since then, drivers passing through this section of the freeway have reported seeing ghostly figures standing on the median, their faces obscured by shadows. Some claim these apparitions resemble victims of the original crashes, frozen in perpetual anguish, while others insist they are warnings meant to prevent further tragedy. Another haunting tale emerges from the outskirts of Salem, Oregon, where the highway skirts close to the Willamette River. Here, the ghost of a young boy named Jacob is said to haunt the roadside, his presence marked by fleeting glimpses of a small figure darting between cars. According to legend, Jacob drowned in the river decades ago after falling from a fishing boat, and his restless spirit now wanders the highway searching for solace, or perhaps revenge. Drivers who spot him often feel compelled to pull over, only to find nothing but empty darkness when they step out of their vehicles. Those who ignore the urge to stop sometimes report hearing childish laughter emanating from their back seat, followed by the sensation of tiny hands tugging at their clothes. Phantom vehicles are another recurring theme along I-5, particularly near the Mount St. Helens area, where the landscape bears scars from the catastrophic eruption of 1980. Dozens of motorists have recounted seeing semi-trucks barreling down the freeway at impossible speeds, their headlights blazing brightly despite thick fog obscuring visibility. When attempts are made to overtake or flag them down, the trucks vanish without a trace, leaving behind only silence and unanswered questions. Skeptics dismiss these sightings as tricks of the mind caused by stress or fatigue, but believers argue that the timing and consistency of such reports suggests something far more sinister. The highway's infrastructure itself seems to amplify its haunted reputation. Rest stops and way stations along I-5 are frequent sites of paranormal activity, with employees recounting bizarre experiences ranging from disembodied voices issuing cryptic warnings to objects levitating briefly before crashing to the ground. One rest area near Eugene, Oregon, is especially notorious. Overnight travelers have reported waking up to find their belongings rearranged or missing entirely, while security cameras capture indistinct shapes moving through the parking lot despite no visible source. Maintenance workers tasked with cleaning these areas describe tools malfunctioning spontaneously and doors locking themselves, forcing them to abandon their duties prematurely. Even the weather plays a role in enhancing I-5's supernatural allure. Dense fog, torrential rain, and sudden snowstorms create conditions ripe for misinterpretation and terror. Drivers caught in such storms often describe hearing faint whispers carried by the wind, accompanied by the sensation of unseen fingers brushing against their skin. Some claim to see shadowy figures reflected in puddles or frost-covered windows, their expressions twisted in agony or rage. Others report feeling an inexplicable urge to turn around and head back the way they came, as if guided by an invisible hand steering them away from danger. Despite, or perhaps because of, these unsettling accounts, I-5 continues to draw travelers eager to test their mettle against the unknown. For every skeptic dismissing the tales as mere superstition, there exists a believer convinced that the highway holds secrets best left uncovered. Whether you're a commuter rushing to meet a deadline, or a tourist exploring the Pacific Northwest's diverse landscapes, the possibility of encountering something beyond the ordinary adds an element of suspense to every mile traveled. For those brave enough to navigate its haunted stretches, I-5 offers an unparalleled glimpse into the thin veil separating the living from the dead. It challenges us to confront our deepest fears and question the nature of reality itself. As headlights pierce the gloom and tires hum against asphalt, remember, the ghosts of the past may be closer than you think, riding shotgun and waiting for the moment to make themselves known. Highway 395, snaking through the arid expanse of eastern Oregon and Washington, presents a stark contrast to the lush greenery and coastal charm of the Pacific Northwest's western highways. Here, the landscape is dominated by sweeping deserts, volcanic plateaus, and towering mountain ranges, creating an atmosphere both desolate and awe-inspiring. Yet, beneath its rugged beauty lies a tapestry woven with tragedy, isolation, and the supernatural. This highway, often referred to as the loneliest road in the Northwest, has become infamous not just for its remoteness but for the eerie stories that haunt its endless stretches of pavement. One of the most enduring legends tied to Highway 395 centers around the ghost town of Shaniko, Oregon. Once a thriving hub for wool trading in the early 20th century, Shaniko's fortunes waned after the railroad bypassed the town, leaving it to decay into obscurity. Today, its weathered buildings stand as silent sentinels to a bygone era, yet they are far from abandoned. Travelers stopping near Shaniko have reported seeing figures moving inside the old bank and general store, their movements jerky and unnatural. Some claim to hear the faint clinking of coins and the murmur of conversations, as though the town's bustling past continues to play out in an eternal loop. Others describe encountering a gaunt, pale-faced man wandering the outskirts, his hollow eyes fixed on the horizon as if searching for something, or someone, he lost long ago. Further south, near the border of Oregon and California, lies another hotspot of paranormal activity, the site of the 1968 Fort Rock bus crash. A chartered bus carrying students home from a school trip veered off the road during a violent dust storm, plunging into a ravine and claiming the lives of 23 passengers. Though the wreckage was cleared decades ago, those driving through this stretch of Highway 395 often report hearing the distant sound of children laughing and singing, mingled with the mournful wails of adults. Some swear they've seen shadowy figures standing on the roadside, their forms flickering like mirages in the heat waves. Local authorities dismiss these accounts as products of imagination, but survivors' families maintain that the spirits of the victims remain trapped, unable to move on from the scene of their untimely demise. Another chilling phenomenon occurs near the base of Steens Mountain, where the highway cuts through a vast expanse of sagebrush and basalt cliffs. Drivers have reported being followed by phantom vehicles, headlights glowing steadily in their rearview mirrors despite no car visible behind them. Attempts to outrun or confront these spectral pursuers prove futile, as the lights either vanish abruptly or merge seamlessly into the darkness. One particularly harrowing account comes from a delivery driver who swears he was chased by a black pickup truck for nearly 20 miles before it disappeared entirely upon reaching a deserted crossroads. He described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though the entity following him intended harm rather than assistance. The desert itself seems alive with malevolent energy along Highway 395. Campers and hikers venturing off the beaten path frequently recount unsettling encounters with shadowy figures lurking just beyond the reach of their campfires. Some claim these entities mimic human behavior, mimicking laughter or footsteps before retreating into the void. Others describe waking up in the middle of the night to find their tents surrounded by glowing eyes, the air heavy with an oppressive silence that defies explanation. Even seasoned outdoors enthusiasts admit to feeling unnerved by the sheer emptiness of the surroundings, as though the land itself is watching, waiting for a misstep. Adding to the highway's haunted mystique are the tales of cursed artifacts and abandoned relics scattered along its route. Near Burns, Oregon, lies the remnants of a pioneer wagon trail, where rusted tools and broken wagons serve as grim reminders of the hardships faced by early settlers. Visitors to the area often report experiencing sudden drops in temperature, accompanied by the sensation of being touched by icy fingers. Others claim to see ghostly pioneers trudging through the sagebrush, their faces etched with exhaustion and despair. Locals warn against removing anything from the site, believing the items carry a curse that brings misfortune to those who disturb them. Modern technology has done little to dispel the highway's supernatural reputation. Dashcams mounted on vehicles traversing Highway 395 capture inexplicable anomalies. Orbs of light hovering above the desert floor, translucent shapes drifting across the road, and vehicles appearing briefly in rearview mirrors before vanishing altogether. GPS systems falter unpredictably, leaving travelers disoriented and cut off from navigation aids. Cell phone signals fade in and out, rendering communication impossible at critical moments. Even emergency responders admit to feeling uneasy when called to incidents along this stretch of highway, citing an oppressive weight in the air that defies rational explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunting allure, Highway 395 remains a magnet for adventurers and thrill-seekers eager to test their courage against the unknown. Its stark beauty and eerie folklore make it a must-visit destination for those willing to confront the mysteries of the past. For every traveler who drives its lonely curves under starlit skies, there exists the tantalizing possibility of encountering something beyond comprehension. Whether you're drawn by the promise of solitude or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, Highway 395 offers an experience unlike any other, a journey where the boundaries between life and death blur, and the spirits of those who came before refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. The Dallas Bridge, where time stands still spanning the mighty Columbia River. The Dallas Bridge connects the cities of the Dallas, Oregon, and Dallasport, Washington, serving as a vital link for commuters and travelers alike. Yet, this seemingly ordinary structure harbors a dark and mysterious past, earning it a reputation as one of the Pacific Northwest's most haunted landmarks. Built in 1953 to replace an earlier wooden bridge destroyed by flooding, the Dallas Bridge quickly became a focal point for tragedy and unexplained phenomena, its steel girders and concrete supports bearing witness to events that defy logic and reason. One of the most chilling legends tied to the Dallas Bridge involves the tragic death of Emily Carter, a young woman who plunged into the river below in 1967. According to local lore, Emily was returning home from a late-night shift at a nearby diner when her car skidded off the rain-slicked roadway, sending her vehicle hurtling into the frigid waters. Her body was recovered days later, but many believe her spirit remains trapped on the bridge, unable to find peace. Drivers crossing the span after sunset often report seeing a solitary figure standing on the edge, her silhouette illuminated by headlights. Some claim she waves frantically, as if pleading for help, only to vanish when approached. Others describe hearing faint cries carried by the wind, echoing across the river like a mournful lament. Another haunting tale centers around the area beneath the bridge, where several unexplained disappearances have occurred over the years. In the early 1980s, a group of teenagers ventured onto the riverbank for a midnight swim, never to be seen again. Search parties scoured the area for weeks, finding only scattered belongings and no trace of the missing youths. Locals believe the river itself is cursed, its swift currents hiding secrets best left undisturbed. Fishermen and boaters in the vicinity often report hearing faint screams echoing across the water, particularly on foggy nights when visibility drops to near zero. Some swear they've spotted shadowy figures thrashing in the current, their forms dissolving into mist as dawn breaks. The bridge is also infamous for its phantom vehicles, spectral apparitions said to appear unexpectedly along its length. Dozens of drivers have recounted seeing headlights in their rearview mirrors, only to discover no car behind them when they pull over to investigate. Others describe being tailgated by shadowy trucks or sedans that seem to materialize out of nowhere, matching their speed regardless of how fast they drive. One particularly disturbing account comes from a truck driver who swears he was pursued by a black sedan for miles before it suddenly disappeared into thin air. He claims the experience left him so shaken that he refused to take another job in the area. Adding to the bridge's eerie reputation are reports of electronic malfunctions and mechanical failures experienced by drivers passing through. Radios tune themselves to static-filled stations, GPS devices lose signal, and engines stall inexplicably. Some attribute these incidents to the region's high concentration of quartz deposits, which are believed to interfere with electromagnetic fields. However, others suspect something more otherworldly at play, a force determined to keep intruders away from places better left forgotten. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Dallas Bridge continues to attract adventurers eager to test their courage against the unknown. During the summer months, tourists flock to the Columbia River Gorge, drawn by promises of hiking trails, waterfalls, and panoramic vistas. Yet as the sun sets and darkness envelopes the landscape, the bridge transforms into a different kind of destination, one where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and the ghosts of those who came before refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. For those brave enough to cross this haunted span, the promise of encountering the supernatural offers both terror and fascination. Whether you're drawn by curiosity, skepticism, or a desire to connect with the mysteries of the past, the Dallas Bridge delivers an unforgettable experience. But beware, once you enter its shadowy embrace, there's no guarantee you'll leave unchanged, or at all. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Drive one of these haunted highways yourself. Feel the chill of the fog rolling in, hear the faint echoes of footsteps on deserted stretches, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these roads offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy grip of a phantom hand on your shoulder? See headlights in your rearview mirror only to find no car behind you. Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted highways, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Until then, keep your eyes on the road, but don't forget to glance over your shoulder. After all, you never know what might be riding shotgun.